Here you see the beginnings of my trip. It was the first time I've ever been out west and the first time I ever really spent a night outside. I was born and raised in the city, meaning I never really went hiking or saw that much of nature. And when I got there, I expected there to be the first base camp to have a cabin and that we would all sleep in there the first night, but it wasn't. It was just a field. I remember hearing a list of names and then mine being called out. I looked around and saw the other members of my group saying to myself, all right, I guess I'm going to be spending these 3 weeks with these people. Then the work began. They told us what we were going to do, gave us our backpacks, supplies, and told us how to pack everything, but they also warned us, not everyone makes it through the whole trip. I knew from the beginning it wasn't going to be me. I'm not a quitter. I made up my mind that it would be physically hard, but everything else would be simple. Then the real first day of hiking started. My theory was already being proven correct. The first day seemed like it was so much, but I believe we only hiked 3 miles. After putting on the backpack, which was my size, may I add, I felt as if I would take a step and then I'd fall over. I was correct. The physical part did kill me. I mean, the backpack was so big that I could actually fit in there. Throughout Colorado Outward Bound School, Cobbs, I did improve, but they were very nice about not leaving me behind. After noticing that I was terrible at backpacking and really slow, they put me in the front so that everyone would go at my speed. My 2 worst enemies on this trip were Craig, my backpack. Yes, we all named our backpacks, and we even had a shovel named Keith, but that's a different, I'm going off track here. Back to my enemies. Besides Craig, it was going uphill. And one day, all we did was go uphill with Craig on my back. It was not a nice day. In addition to this, if you know me, I'm also super clumsy, which led to me falling down 2 mountains, this being one of them, and this one being the other. I fell so deep into snow also that I had to dig myself out. However, it was all part of the experience, and honestly, it was pretty funny. I mean, you should have seen the video of me falling down this thing. After my falls, I'd get back up and say, I'm okay, and continue walking. I believe they asked me at the end of the trip what was my least favorite part of the Alpine backpacking trip, and I said, the backpacking. My favorite part, however, was the community and obviously the beautiful scenery. Well, we started off with 11 in total, 3 girls, 8 boys, and ended with 9 in total, 2 girls, 7 boys. 1 left for mental reasons, and the other because they couldn't take care of themselves. Still, they were all pretty amazing people, and some consider themselves average Joes, others had strong connections with their family, others were there for detox, and some were there to regain emotional stability. Everyone brought their own story and personality to the group. It's hard to say what really happened in those heart-to-heart moments in the mountains, freezing at night, pitch black, and the stars looming above. It's like everyone says something normal, until one brave soul shares something completely personal and everyone cries and hugs it out. That's the best way I can describe that. It's just, you have to be their moment to get it. But I'm quite sure and positive that all of you have had an experience like this at some point or to some degree. We have had so many of these, but the hugging was strange. Not because I hate hugs, but because it was 3 weeks, no showering, and I'm at armpit level, so it wasn't the best thing. I remember them saying that Cobbs was a life-changing experience. Cobbs was a life-changing experience, but in all honesty, for me, it wasn't. People talked about how the 3-day solo made them a better person or that they were scared. I was used to being alone, and that 3-day solo seemed just normal and boring. Secretly, I wished that it was going to be like a Homer Simpson epiphany moment from the Simpsons movie, but nothing of that sort happened, just a lot of sleeping. Even though it wasn't a life-changing experience, it was a nice break from everything. I mean, how often in life do you get a break from everything? How often do you get to have have 3 weeks with no contact with anyone and being with complete strangers? Having this break meant the world to me. Although it didn't change my life, it did do a lot for me. I got to finally take a step back, take a breather, and actually take care of myself for a change. Everyone would say it was the most responsibility they ever had in their lives and it made them stronger, but my life made me mentally prepared for this. I was always used to doing things for a group. I mean, coming from a large family, that's just how it is. To me, it was the least responsibility I've ever had. I didn't feel pressure or nervous or scared. I felt like life was simple for the first time. I mean, last year in English Honors with Clark P, I learned about transcendentalism, and it was my absolute favorite unit. I wanted and dreamed about that simplicity, 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 and I got that on this trip. The scenery added to this break. It was just amazing. I could look out and see these beautiful mountains and skies and snow in the middle of July. It was strange and wonderful. I always felt like I was looking at a desktop. Even though I was physically there and touched everything, I still felt like I wasn't there, or it wasn't real. I was away from my usual scenery. Quoting my sister, life is a lottery. Humans cannot control where they are born or choose what their circumstances are, but we can choose what we're going to do with our experience. The purpose of this trip was to become a better leader. But isn't being a good leader taking everything that has happened to you, all your experiences, and actually doing something with it? So what I can leave you with is, with everything that you have learned, use it to take action. Thank you.